Okay, so welcome to the very first Biz and Tech Thursday. Today I'm going to be focusing on business. Many of you probably have a dream of owning a business or currently have a business. You want to turn that passion into something that's actually profitable. What I've seen is that a lot of people will take the thing that they love to do and just go out and start doing it. And okay, no, that's not great. We're not going to do it that way. There are things that you actually have to do to be an official business. And it's not necessarily that you just say, man, I really like to grill. I'm going to start selling this. And you go set up in somebody's parking lot and start selling food off your grill. There are regulations, there are licenses that you actually have to get before you start your business. And there are also some other little steps you need to do in between that will actually put you in the best position to create something that's sustainable. First of all, I would say sit down and actually figure out some really important things about your business. Like, what will it actually take to run it? How much money do you need to start it? First, a lot of businesses, there is no startup cost, but there are others that do have a significant cost attached to them. And you really need to know what that is before you just jump out there. Unfortunately, sometimes with social media, people think that as soon as you set up your Facebook page, you have your name and somebody does your logo, that you actually have something that is a business, but you don't. And you can actually get in trouble if you start doing it that way, particularly when it comes to that exchange of money. So when you kick it off, or before you actually kick it off, I want you to go and talk to somebody. I want you to talk to a business counselor. A business counselor is somebody that will actually sit with you, talk to you about your business, have you really think about the goals for your business. How much is it going to cost? What does your product need to cost? Is there a market for your business in your area? Are you going to sell online? There are a lot of things to think about it, and the goal is not to overwhelm you, but to ensure that there are people who can sit next to you and help you with this process. And you will find those people in several places across the country. So there's SCORE. SCORE is a group for people who want to develop a business, but they want to be mentored. And the mentors in SCORE are people who have been business owners in the past or may currently have one, but usually they have a lot of experience that they just want to share with the next generation of entrepreneurs. So if there's a SCORE in your area, reach out to them and find out if somebody in that group has a business that's like yours, or be willing to sit with you and just let you know some of the pitfalls they had that you can actually avoid. There's also the Small Business Development Center. They are across the country. They can help you with workshops, even workshops around Google. They can help you with really understanding some of the other steps beyond registering with the Secretary of State. There's also getting a DUNS number if you want to get government contracts. There are workshops that they hold for people who want to do all types of work. Speaking of government contracts, if you decide, man, I really want to get in with the federal government, you should sit down and talk to somebody with the Small Business Development Center, because they actually have a separate system that they can put you in, as along with getting special codes associated with your business, so that when a federal contractor is looking for a business that provides your services, your name will come up in that database. Sometimes we don't tap into some of the resources that are there because we don't even know about them. So I really hope that you take this moment to really dive into some of these other opportunities, some of these business centers that can actually help you level up your business. The third opportunity for those who are women is, of course, the Women's Business Center. And not every community has them. In my state, there's only one that's in the capital, but it is available for those who want to find out what special opportunities are available, particularly for women. And then there is the Veterans Business Outreach Center, which also has business counselors. And you can go to that URL to find out some of the details of how to get in contact with these people who offer those services. The next resource that I want you to tap into is the development authorities. Every state has some iteration of a development authority. And that is where you can actually get registered on the state level and let people know about your business. And if you are a minority or a woman owned business, then you can actually register with them with that particular certification. And that will help you come up if there is a set aside. And a set aside is if there is a project coming up and a certain amount of it has to go to someone who's a minority or someone who's a woman. And if your business is already in the system, when they start looking for people to contract to, ta-da, you're already there. And you don't find out about an opportunity after it's already passed. Another thing that you will find with development authorities is that if there is a new industry coming to the area, they would be the ones who would be the point of contact. So you can find out about other opportunities that you would be able to support with some of the services that you provide. And let me just say this, don't say no to yourself. Don't say, well, they don't need the kind of thing that I do. You have no idea. So many different types of contracts come through on the federal and state level that they do need. There is a contractor for janitorial services. There are contractors for photography. You can even get with the export office and offer your services to different countries, even if you do graphic design. So there are so many opportunities out there for developing your business. Sometimes it is right there in your local market, the people who are down the street that you're servicing. But don't forget those other streams that are available and that will give you the opportunity to expand your business. So my question to you, if you are deciding to jump into this space, is what do you really want it to look like? One of the things that I did when I initially started in 2009 was I created my business in a moment of crisis. The country was dealing with a recession and nobody was hiring. I had way too much education to get on with somebody. And that's actually what they told me. I'm not being arrogant. And I actually said, if you're not going to give me a job, I'll create one for myself. And that is literally what I did. And that was a part of my bio for years. And I was like, yeah, I did it for myself. And then I actually realized I remembered the power of words. I created a job for myself. I did not create a business. And the difference is with a job, it is really hard to take off. When you are the principal and you're doing everything, you can't get away. If you get away or if you leave, then it drops. So, to those of you who are turning your passion into profitability, I would say to you, create it in a system. When you are sitting with a counselor and you're thinking about how you want your business to look, I want you to think about it from the perspective of employees. Who is your support staff? And you may not be able to start out that way, but I want you to be thinking about the possibility of expanding so that your hand does not have to touch everything. Okay? Don't give yourself a job. Give yourself a system that creates money. Do you have to do it all? No. So accept an employee's 80%. 80%. If they hit 80, it's okay. Create something for yourself and for your family that you can hand off to that next generation. Something else that I want you to be considering that I am actually putting into my business plan is passive streams of income. So I have done decades of graphic design, web design, speaking and training, developing communications plans, social media marketing and management. And so now I'm looking at it from the perspective of how can I do what I do? Because I love it. I love speaking and training on it. And I'm still going to do what is more active, me standing before a crowd or a group and discussing it. But I'm also going to do it in such a way that there will be passive streams. So what does that look like? Passive income is income that you get, but you're not actively working. It's not attached to the hours of labor that you put into it. So for me, that looks like developing an online training. That looks like being an affiliate for different programs. So when you do your business plan, I'm challenging you to think about it beyond that initial service. What are some passive ways that you could continue to earn income off of your passion? For example, let's say you're a photographer. Photography is very active. You go out and you take pictures. How can you do something that's passive involving photography? Well, you can actually position yourself as a content creator, share some of the tips on social media platforms, and as that builds, you can actually get paid based off of the size of your audience. You can get paid off of sponsorships. You can get paid off of ads. Another thing that is possible is that you could turn your expertise into a course and sell your course and allow people to buy your course and learn what you know. Now, will they gain everything that you have? No, because you'll still be decades or 5 years or even 1 year ahead of them in your area of expertise, but they will see that you know what you're doing. You will give them a chance to engage and interact with you, and it will give you an opportunity to stay connected to them. It's also another way to have income. It's not a bad thing. So roll that into your plan. Another thing that I want you to do is consider how you would be able to hand it off if there is a next generation behind you. What often happens is that people spend their decades in their businesses and their kids see them working in it, but they never really train them to take it over. If you have a child in your life who looks up to you and loves what you do, instill entrepreneurship in them. And you can do that by being the greatest example and letting them learn what you know, not when it gets to your end of life, but letting them discover and learn the journey along with you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I will be responding. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this first installment of Biz and Tech.